Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you for being in the live, man, as we get ready, baby. We get ready for week 1 action. It's the Saints up against the Cardinals, baby. That's right, to start it off. And I was looking up some stats, man. Y'all know that the Cardinals lead the overall series between the Saints 16-15. So if the Saints are fortunate enough to get a win from the Cardinals on Sunday, we even it off, baby. So anyway, we got some special guests in here. Brother Ed Smith and Brother Javon Adams, man, of the Bleav in Cardinals podcast in here to represent the Arizona side of the things. And we appreciate y'all. So thank you guys for chiming on in. Shout out to you, brothers. Thank you. All right.
Your intro
right.
and first things first, bro. That's a heck of an intro. And then I heard them shots about my Falcons.
Yeah, man.
Getting after us. I love it.
Hold on now.
Man. I'm gonna just step in there because I'm an MC myself, and that make me want to get on and do something because Ed knows that I spit a little something, and so that make me want to. So I appreciate you putting a battery in my back. I'm gonna walk out as soon as we done. I'm gonna walk in my living room talking about who that. So I'm just saying.
That's right.
Non-discriminatory too, beating up on Panthers and Bucks and Falcons. Man, we all got our taste in the mouth.
hey, brother Ed, everybody within the NFC South got to get something, brother. And no, there's not. It's all business. It's nothing personal. So there you go. All right, so anyway, we're gonna start it off with the brothers, man. Y'all give them a warm welcome, man, as we're gonna talk about this matchup here, man. And we were looking at some of the statistics. I got them on the screen there, brother Ed, brother Javon. Y'all could take a look. Y'all know them better than we do about what the Cardinals did last year. 8-9. Our team was a ghastly 5-12, led by Dennis Allen, who I'm happy is gone. But there is some improvement, that we're seeing from our side, some changes and some tweaks that we're hoping to implement with Kellen Moore running the team. He has his, he drafted his own quarterback, but Spencer Rattler was a tight race. He won it. And, we'll see how that goes. We'll get into that. But from the Cardinals side of things, you guys have an established quarterback in Kyler Murray and some good offensive pieces. You guys added some stuff on the defense. Let's talk about, from y'all perspective, what you guys think the Cardinals can do. What is the strength of this team?
You want me to take it, Jay? Well, the first, we talked the other day, and we didn't realize Kyler Murray's been here. This is his 7th season, and it feels like we're still in the like the experimental stage. You know, we're waiting for our franchise quarterback to basically become our franchise quarterback.
He's a good man. You just got to believe.
We got to believe, yeah. So, but what has happened is, you know, he's gone through the Kingsbury to now Gannon, and it's a different type of ship here. You talk about the environment. You know, I think we have some good things as far as how Gannon, he came in and he changed some rules, put everybody on the same kind of level, including our quarterback. And, you know, you can see the ship is being run a little tighter here. On the field, we saw the improvement from 4-13, I think, a couple of years ago to 8-9. We're still, and that was a year where that Murray he missed most of it because of injury. So, you know, he had the full, you know, we're looking at a team that should be on the rise behind our quarterback. We have all the pieces. Jay will talk about it. We added to our defense, going, you know, bringing Class in, but making a trade for Sweat or picking him up in free agency. So we've done some things that are now, we should be out of this stage where we're pretending to play, where we should be vying for one of these playoff spots. So our expectations are very high around here in Arizona with these Cardinals right now.
Brother Javon,
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was about to ask you something, but you go ahead and jump in there. I'll ask you after that.
Oh, I was just going to say, one of the things that makes me think of is if you sit in church and when they say, when I was a child, I behaved as a child. When I became a man, of course, I put away those childish ways. And so one of the things that I think about with Kyler Murray is that there's things that Ed and I talk about, and especially Ed talks about more often than not, is the fact that if you want to be able to really open up the offense, you have to, we know that Ed always says that AJ, do you know we got our quarterback is short, but you still have to be able to put him under center enough to be able to keep the offense, to be able to keep the defense on its heels, right? And so that's where you have to put, in order to grow, you have to be uncomfortable. And I think this is the year where, okay, go from 4-13 to 8-9. And so this is the year that you got to get to double digits in wins. And I think that while the receiving core is not as strong as is not as strong. You have Marvin Harrison Jr., who's still proven, but then you have Trey McBride going to have to rely enough on Kyler Murray to be able to lead them to the playoffs.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison, a lot of people are looking at him, obviously the namesake, and how he was seen as a high draft pick that was supposed to pair with Kyler Murray to kind of take him to the next level. But also we see Trey McBride, man, he had a monster year for you guys last year in that offense. And even Michael Wilson is seen as somewhat of a receiver that might could help. But talk about the offensive line and how that looks. How strong is that line? I see you guys have a few people there, and Brown and Paris Johnson Jr., Isaiah Adams, and a few of those guys. How strong is your offensive line? I mean, are they really that good in the running attack? I mean, Connor had like over 1,000 yards last year and had a stellar year. Is the line really that good?
I think that I'll go with this one, Ed.
Line out.
I think Paris Johnson is better than you probably give him credit for. Easy is that they're not going to strike fear in anybody's heart, right? But I think that they're formidable enough. And when I say formidable enough, period, if they really rely upon their running game, and this is something that Ed talked about in our latest show, is really being able to try to really lean on the defense. So what does that mean? That means let's try to have some of these longer drawn out drives and be able to rely upon the running game. And so that means if you're going to have a running game, then you have to be able to rely on the offensive line to open those holes and try to keep that up. And so we have Connor and we have Trey Benson to rely on. And so Connor is definitely an established running back there.
I was going to say, for me, Jay and I we've been covering these Cardinals for years now, and for years we've been crying from the rooftops. We have to address the offensive line. We have to address the offensive line. While Steve Keim was here, his favorite thing thing to do was go out and get toys that we didn't need in the first through third or fourth round, and then he would supplement and grab offensive linemen late in the fifth, sixth, seventh round. That's not how you operate. You have to, if you're going to think of it as a priority, you have to, and it's not sexy pick, but you have to sometimes spend those early picks on offensive linemen. So we Keim exits, Gannon and Ossenfort, they now have that kind of mindset, and they've addressed it. The problem is, we've been watching them so long that we're waiting for it to get good, meaning our offensive line, but and we don't have any what you call superstars on it, but I think they're getting to the point where they're serviceable enough that if they're utilized in the right way, meaning we need to be pushing people off the ball. I don't think we need, Kyler dropping back 45, 50 times in the game. If we can establish the running game, I think it'll make it easier for that offensive line in the passing game. Problem is sometimes we go about it the wrong way. So I'm excited to see what their plan of attack is with that offensive line moving forward. If they can establish early and then, like I said, figure, the other stuff out on the backside, I think they're going to be okay. But like when you think about, Jay, when you think about our offensive line, I mean, we got guys. We don't have dudes. We got guys on the offensive line. So we'll see how they play together. But at least they've been together, for more than a year now. They usually, one day they have a habit of here. It's like a revolving door. But it's been a little consistent over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, last year they ranked 11th in rushing offense last year, and overall in terms of your NFL, the offense totally, what was it? Don't know. It was worth 11th, and the rushing attack was 7th, I think, if I'm reading that correctly, and 18th with the pass. So, I mean, they absolutely they found a recipe to run the football. Connors, like I said, he had 1,000 yards with 8 rushing touchdowns, and the guy averaged over 4.5 carries a contest. But when I look at the Arizona Cardinals team, I look at Kyler Murray. Now, like he kind of was there, he was a star, then he kind of disappeared a bit. And my hesitations or concerns rather about the Cardinals and how to defeat the Cardinals start, in my perspective, from Kyler Murray. We have to not allow him to run around there and scramble to create plays like he was the second leading rusher for you guys, almost 600 yards rushing with his feet, 5 rushing touchdowns, and threw for over 3,800 yards, 28 touchdowns against 11 picks. That's actually pretty respectable a season last year from Kyler Murray. My thing is we've had an issue, like I said, with Dennis Allen the last 4 years and a little bit before that of these scrambling quarterbacks. Our Achilles heel has been stopping the scrambling quarterback, the guy that can move around and shake. We've had an issue with that. So that would be my concern in terms of looking at Kyler Murray and all these. Like I said, I'm very aware of Connor. I know he's a bruising running back and guys that take a step. Before we kind of move on to the defense and other aspects of the team, what are some of the guys from an offensive standpoint you guys think that are going to make a step in the right direction for Arizona from the offensive side of the ball?
You want me to go, Jay? I think, I mean, it's hard. A dude has 100 receptions, and you think he did everything he possibly could. I think Trey McBride has even more in the tank as far as production in the red zone. I mean, he had 1 touchdown last year. You can't have that many catches and 1 touchdown. So for me, Trey has become more of a tool in the red zone for Kyler Murray. Yeah, that's a ton of catches, man. And I think it was like the last game, Jay, where he got his touchdown finally. It's like, that we gotta, quadruple and multiply that a little bit. But Trey definitely in the red zone has to be more productive. And that comes with Kyler looking for him and offensive coordinator Petzing drawing up some things for him as well, making it easy to get him the ball down there. And then, I mean, Michael Wilson has to be a good number 2 wide receiver to take some of the heat off of Marvin Harrison, because if there's no other production from the wide receiver group, it's so easy to bracket these guys and lock them down and double them. And like I said, we're going to need Michael Wilson to be more of a threat up the seams, whatever he's doing, catching some balls to take some of the heat off of Marvin Harrison, so we can utilize him as a weapon as well.
Wow. I mean, that's fast. The guy had 147 targets last year. He had 111 catches in 16 games, and he averaged over 10 yards a catch. That's absolutely phenomenal from him. I don't even know if they were anticipating him doing that, but that's phenomenal. Brother Jay, what do you think?
I know it's the easy answer, but I think it's really Marvin Harrison Jr. It's when it comes to where he was lining up last year, it was very predictable where he was lining up. When it comes to the chemistry that you want to have between your wide receiver and your starting quarterback, you really want to have that. You don't want to force it, but you still want to be aggressive in how you're targeting. And so that's the big thing. It was very especially locally, it was a big story to talk about how the muscle that he put on. But it really comes down to really trying to make sure you're trying to get who's supposed to be your wide receiver one to get him the ball. So he really has to, if nothing else, not just have people roll over to him and then you not pass it to him, but you have to really try to get him the ball and be able to take some of those calculated risks and be aggressive in that way.
That's interesting, man, because a lot of people are talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. taking a step. I mean, 62 catches off 116 targets, 14 yards per catch with 8 touchdowns. I mean, the guy's a top 4 pick. I kind of look at him as a huge target, 6'3", 220, man, big target. And he definitely had the bloodline. That's no doubt about it from that ice cold killer that they had with Indianapolis for many years. But yeah, that's interesting. I was looking at some of these other guys and saying, man, because we know the big guys. We could talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. and McBride stick out statistically and on tape. It's always the sneaky guy, somebody else, a third guy that usually gets in there and tries to that we don't quite know about. Who are some of these sneaky players who you guys think that can have an impact on the game, whether it's offense or defense, in your opinions?
Here's what I will say, just to not to belabor the point, is that have you ever seen, whether it's basketball, because you're in New Orleans, so you know about you got the Pelicans over there, but so it's whether some right, sometimes the stats can lie, right? So when you talk about the number of targets, so he's targeted, but when you go away from a player, maybe too early in the game, or maybe you start off maybe having a couple of targets and then you go away. But yeah, he was targeted 6 times. But yeah, that was in the first quarter. That was in the first half. What happened when in the flow of the game? And so a lot of that relies upon the offensive coordinator, and trying the flow of the game and really trying to do things to make those plays. Ed often talks about when I get on him and say, Ed, why did they run this play? He said, no, Jay, you don't understand. That's a setup. That's a setup for something that happens later on. And so that's why I say with Marvin Harrison Jr., I wonder if we have the right offensive coordinator in place to be able to take advantage of that. Because yes, there are, when you have a Greg Dortch, when you talk about Michael Wilson, when you talk about some of these other receivers. So what are we doing to really get them in play, to get them off with the scheme, to be able to take advantage of the matchups that are at hand?
Yeah, it's that's definitely that's the game. Yeah, go ahead, brother Ed.
Oh yeah, no, I would, in what Jay's talking about, we talk about it all the time. Big Q is our inability to adjust and make those key tweaks to what we're doing. We tend to go into a game with a game plan, and that they run that game plan the entire day. We're looking for those adjustments, and part of it is Petzing. We talk. I don't know if he's on the hot seat, but at some point you got to start proving that you know a little bit more about what you're doing. And and Jay brings a great point we talk about all the time in terms of utilizing the weapons and putting them in the best position to do things. We just talked about Trey McBride. There's no reason why with all those catches he shouldn't have had more touchdowns. But part of that is we're still waiting on our offensive coordinator to figure out how to use those tools, how to get Marvin Harris. There are games when Marvin Harrison he was invisible. Even with the numbers that you bring up, he was invisible. We'd have games where he had 3 catches, 25 yards. And then a week later, he'd have 10 catches and, 125 yards. But we can't have those dips and peaks and valleys. And that's, that, and the part of that is, we with the continuity with Kyler and, they don't do a lot during the preseason, come out a little slower than usual. But this is that time where it's now or never with this group, because eventually what happens if they don't start hitting the mark, then the head coach and GM, they know their feet are getting a little warm. They start to make changes. So I think this is a pivotal year for this Cardinals organization.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, how you guys are breaking it down pretty astutely. I mean, the Cardinals sound like they're dealing with an identity crisis a little bit here.
We use that word, Jay. we talk about it all the time. Big Q, we try to figure out I can't tell you how many times we've said, what is the identity of this team? We don't know. Are they a bruising running team? Are they when Kingsbury was here, are they just a throw it around the yard team? What? We have no idea from one week to the next. And I don't think the problem is they don't know within the organization what they are. And Gannon's trying to get them there, but quite honestly, we still don't know. They could come out on Sunday and decide we're going to run the ball 15 times and throw it 40, or we're going to do the exact opposite. We just don't know from one week to the next, but we use that I word around here all the time.
This is true. I hate you.
He gives a thumb of approval there, brother Javon does. I find it fascinating. I find it fascinating, fellas, because we are kindred in that way. We are linked that way because the last 4 years, I've often talked about the fact that we had no identity and even more so no accountability. So you cannot win without either one of those things. And the guy that we had didn't do a well enough job to establish any sound floor of identity for which the team to play behind. And he damn sure didn't have the accountability needed to govern in a way that was respectable and had some sense of integrity. I mean, it's just the guy was a horrible mess, in my opinion. But outside of that, the next guy, Kellen Moore, comes in and establish that and bring respectability, innovation, and just a fresh breeze. And I know you're not counting Drew, but a fresh air through the team, which we need because we was quite still the last 4 years. But fellas, hey man, listen, I'm just happy that we have that change here when things are different, many changes, and we gonna move forward with that. So hey man, but going to, because I want that you guys have an opportunity to chime in on. You can ask me anything you want about the Saints or whatnot. We just can have this kind of a roundtable back and forth thing. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to fire away. But just deciphering and breaking down like the defense of the team. You mentioned identity in terms of the defense. I see you guys got Calais Campbell back. Budda Baker is an absolute stud, man. Budda Baker, in my opinion, watching him play, he's terrific. He puts up good numbers. He'll knock your block off. He gets picks or whatnot. I see him playing. I respect the hell out of his style. But guys, kind of familiarized with. I see you got Josh Sweat that you guys added for the pass rush situation, Tomlinson and a few other guys there. Kind of break down and talk about the defense. So who are your studs and guys that do the best on your defense?
I'll start this one, Ed. I think with when it comes to when we're talking about identity, I think this might be the opportunity when you talk about a coach like Gannon, who comes from the defensive side of the ball. The team, the makeup of this particular team might be one that gives us that identity. So when I say that, maybe being able to really take advantage of the run game to really unleash the defense to be able to see what can happen from that standpoint, but there's still some unknowns or some questions that come about because of that. So when we're looking at what can happen with with the new addition. So when you have Calais Campbell coming back to the Arizona Cardinals, you also look at Josh, who didn't play in the preseason. So you're hoping that whatever was able to take place in practice will be able to translate to something that will allow the Cardinals to establish themselves on the defensive side of the ball. Because maybe trying to be reliant upon the offense to put points on the board, that wasn't necessarily the best way to go about it. So I think, if anything, that identity may come from the defensive side of the ball, and so we'll see how that goes. Because I want to say that's probably what Gannon has been maybe building towards, or maybe in the ear of Austin for since he got to the team. And so this is where maybe you're able to, as Ed likes to say, we like to say, get it to curl quite right, so that we can do what we need to do over here on our side.
Indeed, bro. Brother Ed, you want to add to that?
Yeah, the defense excites me. And particularly the defensive front with the addition of Calais. And we're not, Big Q, let's not fool ourselves. We're not getting 25-year-old Calais. We're not getting 30-year-old Calais. We're getting 39-year-old Calais. But the thing about him, great teacher, great mentor. He can show some of these younger guys how to do it. And we're not, if there's 70 snaps in the game, if we get him out there for 35 or so, 40, that's a win. Try to save him as much as possible. But while he's out there, that defensive front should be able to stop running games and put enough pressure on quarterbacks without us having to send, too many from the secondary to assist. And they might be able to cover up the wart or the holes I think we have on the defensive side of the ball, which is our secondary, minus Buddha. As you talk about Buddha, that man, sometimes I feel sorry for him because he's out there laying the wood, and he's doing a job of 2 and 3 sometimes. And, coming up in coverage, also coming up, stop and run, this, that, and that thing. I'm hoping that the front will do 2 things. One, stop the run so we can leave our DBs alone. They don't have to be up there making all them tackles. And then the other thing is get to the quarterback in a timely fashion where our secondary, our cornerbacks especially, young, and we said some injuries and different things, protect them a little bit. And, in that way, actually, if we don't have to blitz, center linebacker and crew a bunch, then that means we got more guys out there in coverage that can, protect and make it a little tougher on a quarterback, like you guys have going out there. So, I'm excited about this, and Jay said it. I'm excited about maybe this is going to be the future identity of this team and Gannon and the organization, because if they do what they're supposed to do on that front, man, I think they could cause a lot of problems moving forward.
Well, let's go into it, man, because
I'm like the Buddha Baker of our show, because people always feel sorry for me, but I always having to make up.
Okay, Brother Javon. Okay, if you're Buddha Baker, would that make Brother Ed? Who is he jailing
somebody that can hurt me if he wanted to? I keep talking mess.
Hey, no, who was our other linebacker that he shipped out of here instead of White Collins? Who was it, Jay? Remember they drafted him?
Yeah, because they're white. Because they're white.
Yeah, white. Yeah.
Is it white? Okay, yeah, that's me, I guess. Jay's coming up. Yeah,
that's a pretty bad.
Oh no, you're not Isaiah Simmons. You're not Isaiah Simmons. You're not my man Isaiah Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons. That's
what more snaps than that.
Woo. Okay.
No.
That's interesting because I like I said, we from a defensive standpoint, we had a change. We have Coach Staley, former Charger head coach Staley. Kellen brung him over, made him the defensive coordinator. He kind of turned the Saints. His philosophy is to change the 43 defense to the 34. So that's what his philosophy is. And a lot of players kind of fit that. We've seen Chase Young, who's out, who's not going to be in this game, was doing really well in training camp and in preseason. Also, Carl Granderson. These are athletic guys that were edge rushers that we could be able to use them in different ways. Very versatile players. They were doing lights out there. Of course, DeMario's still there. Pete Werner, these are solid players. We lost Tyrann Mathieu to retirement. We did pick up a few people there, Julian Blackman, and it's just been an interesting off season for us, very busy. But the defense has been something that has been consistent throughout preseason into training camp. They've been consistently winning matchups in practice against the offense, and they look primed to have a strong season. So we're going to see if we can, utilize some of the speed that they accrued, on the team and through free agency and the draft to improve and do what we got to do to stop the run and keep these speedy quarterbacks under control. So, like I said, it's a few guys there to kind of talk about, but fellas, what y'all think about? Y'all got any concerns or thought processes on the Saints? What do you guys think about the Saints? Questions toward that before we talk about keys to victory and ultimately predictions if you guys do that.
I had a quick question for you, Big Q. With
Yes,
everything that's going on, obviously, rough season last year. We've had those rough seasons. We seem to be getting to that middling point where now we're starting to expect more. So you guys are still caught a real, but it could be a rough season. In your mind, what will be a successful season for the New Orleans Saints?
That's a great question, Brother Ed. And, I just want to make sure before I answer this question that I'm very clear from which, when you talk about the roughness, you're not mentioning the Falcon stuff. We're talking exclusively about the Cardinals, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I got. Yeah, see, you're a former Cardinal. Who That Nation? We still got to throw a little shade at you every now and again, there, my brother. But
I know. I get it.
All right, no, but seriously, that's a great question. We won 5 games last year. I think anywhere between, and listen, I think the Saints can win anywhere between 7 to 9 games. Now I'll have it going north of that, but it's all predicated on how intelligent the team is, how intelligent and how disciplined they are. That's what in my point, because that's what we've been suffering with over the last 4 years. The team was a dumb team because we had a dumb coach, no disrespect. But we had a guy up there who didn't know what he was doing. He was backstabbing his players. He was throwing guys under the bus. He was apologizing to the Falcons, but never it just was hell, man. But at the end of the day, bad decisions. He brought a quarterback in here that didn't work out. It was just bad. But now it just feels differently because we got a guy that has a high degree of accountability according to what he's talking about, and guys that are coming in that buy into philosophy. So if everything works out the way we planned, because like I said, it wasn't a lot. We had a lot of injuries last year, but it's how you deal with things, how you pack the team. And it was just bad decision making by the supposed brain trust. But ultimately, I think a good season for the Saints will be anywhere, if they can get anywhere between 8 to 10 victories. I think that's a plus for the Saints, to be honest with you, because I don't think we're that far off. We just need to iron out some stuff and keep it moving, man. A lot of people have us picked up at the 3rd overall pick, going after Nussmeier or whatever, top quarterback, Klubnik, or whoever they else coming out. I don't see that. I think the Saints' problems wasn't exclusively because of player personnel. I think it was bad decision making. A decision making by the head coach who had no head. He had no brains. He had no instinct of what he was doing. I thought that was a major indictment on the team for what they did there. But outside of that, I think we headed in the right direction in all those things. All right, brother Javon, you good?
I had a question though.
That's a great answer. Yeah.
I got a question in terms of. So one of the things that I was curious that I was concerned about. So I went to with my son, my youngest, he home from college, and so we went to. He was really focused on going to as many practices as possible. So thankfully, we were able to go, and so the offense wasn't looking so good against the defense, but then I was wondering, and so then watching how the offense performed in the preseason, I was wondering if the defense is just so far ahead of the offense because the offense is just not where it needs to be, given the fact that that what Staley wants to do in terms of trying to work, really be aggressive and work from the inside out and really focus on really making the defensive line kind of the priority. Are you concerned that maybe that on the offensive side of the ball, given that that's Kellen Moore's specialty, that there are some concerns that there will be a lot of growing pains through this season, as maybe the defense might be a little bit more stalwart than given the fact that you guys have had a lot of turnover in the offseason?
Great question again. I mean, that's true. The defense, in my opinion, is ahead of the offense. The defense was more proactive in the offseason and in practice. In terms of getting the proper personnel, we kind of documented that on a day-to-day basis. Damn near, you see Coach Staley would go and he would say, "Listen, I need this guy, I need that guy." We found Chris Rump the second. He brought him here. He brought in several other players who the Saints needed to improve the defense. He didn't sit around when guys that didn't want to perform or didn't play. He made sure to get those guys out of here and get guys that could play. He brought in Jonathan Bullard, the veteran, added him to the team. The draft picks that we have are solid. The Saints had 9 draft picks and 8 of them made the team. The last one not to make the team was only because Chris Rumpf barely edged him out for the final spot, but that guy is also on the practice squad. We could see him activated for this game. We'll see. But they've done a phenomenal job, whether it's free agents, draft picks, undrafted guys, whatever the case, defensively, to proactively attack that side whenever they need it. They didn't wait. Now, the offense started to catch that vibe, and we started to say it's a disparity in how active the defense is in getting these guys. Like we talk about them picking up when Tyrann Mathieu retired, either the same day or the next day, they had Julian Blackmon signed. They didn't wait around. They didn't play from a defensive standpoint. Justin Reed was brought in here from the Chiefs to kind of add to it. So they had defensively, they were getting after it. And then later on, toward the back end of the preseason, that's when you started seeing the offense start to catch whatever the defense was doing, and they started adding all these players. They traded Bink Saunders out and got the center from the Jaguars. They claimed Xavier Truss off the waiver wire. They traded to get a tackle from the Cowboys before they traded Parsons. I mean, before they traded Parsons. And then you had the other things that was happening. So they picked up and traded for Veli, the wide receiver from Denver. So they were doing all these things. They claimed the wide receiver Palmer off the waiver wire, and they started getting busy too. So absolutely, the defense, in terms of how it jobbed, the rhythm and the identity and the focus of the defense is ahead of what the offense was doing. And that was present because you see they gained an identity quicker because they were able to establish dominance over the offense right away. So from whatever little practice stuff we're seeing. So the thing about, I don't want to make it too long, Brother Javon, but all I'm saying is that when I watch preseason games, because I got a football background too, I look at execution. I know them ain't the real plays they run it. That's some stuff that's vanilla playbook garbage. They're not, they just run it. I pay attention to the execution. The execution was poor on the first team. I also realized they wasn't using all the players in the first team. So it was a really skewed evaluation that we had to do because we didn't see McCoy. One of our best centers. We in the brains and the strength of the offensive line at the center position, Eric McCoy. We didn't see Alvin Kamara, who is the guy. We didn't see none of those guys, and it was hard to get a good estimation or a good evaluation of what truly the offense could be. So, I try not to be too critical because I just didn't have enough data to make an accurate assessment of what this offense could be. But I seen what the defense is. I seen what the hell the defense was, just not so much as the offense. If that answers your question, my brother.
And that brings up an interesting point right there too, Big Q. We sitting here talking offense, defense. Sure. We haven't said a word about special teams yet.
Yes, sir.
And Jay and I, we hold our breath when it comes to our special teams over here sometimes because we've seen some bobbled punts and things like that in the preseason. And if anything can turn a football game around or lose a football game for you, it can be those special teams.
That's true.
So I'm just saying. So we're sitting here and we haven't seen much. So we've seen certain guys, Deutsch and certain guys out there, and like and dropping balls. But hey, it's just preseason. Everybody's getting warmed up. But tell us a little bit about that third part of your unit, because for us, we do have a little bit of cross your fingers and hope nobody does something stupid, or don't drop the ball. How are you guys looking special teams wise?
Well, Blake Groupie, who is that's one player that I can give Dennis Allen credit for. One really good thing that he did was when he traded away our kicker to Sean Payton's Broncos, we found an undrafted kicker named Blake Groupie. And he was phenomenal this entire preseason, offseason. He missed one kick in practice, the whole time, and that's because it was raining. He missed it in practice, but the guy has been phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to him to take a step, and really proud and happy to have Blake Groupie as our kicker. There was a bit of a punter battle. We got rid of the last guy, one of the Australian kickers that we had. We've been kind of going through punters, so to speak, the last couple of years. And then there was a battle between former Alabama undrafted punter James Burnap and Kai Kroger, who's another undrafted guy. And they had a really good punting battle, and Kai Kroger edged them out. So watching our punter and kicker, I'm really happy about our punter and kicker situation. I think we're solid there. Our kick returner, according to the unofficial depth chart, is Rashid Shaheed, who I'm not mad about. This is a Pro Bowl guy with blazing speed. I think Rashid is the quickest guy on our team. He's an excellent return man. I just don't want him returning kicks because of his application in the offense. He's our third best guy there. Maybe I would say second best guy based on our depth chart currently. He's our second best wide receiver overall, with Chris Olave being the first in my estimation. But yeah, Rashid Shaheed is listed as our return man. No slouch there. Velus Jones Jr., who's a former guy that was with the Bears. He was a tight end turned running back who made the team. Phenomenal, versatile player who has a high degree of speed as well. So I'm really confident. And of course, our lone snapper, Zach Wood, who just has been solid for his time being here. So I'm very pleased. And I give my special teams a high grade. Now, we still have to figure out how we going to work out the returner thing, because I'm not kind of leery of Rashid being there. But outside of that, I'm very pleased with our special teams. So what do you guys think? Well, what's going? Because I know you guys have Blake Gillick, and he was a former Saint punter that we had here, and he did some good work for us sometimes. So I guess you guys are not as confident in y'all unit as as we are here. So I mean, yeah, if you can't count on, you got to kick it through Chad Ryland. I think Ryland, is that y'all guy there? Hey man, it's going to be interesting there.
Yeah, I mean, we tend to, for some reason, our special teams, they tend to just keep us on our toes over on this side. So we'll see what we didn't get a big look at them either, as far as who was battling. I didn't get out to any of the practices this year. I'm dealing with a bad back still. Jay and his son, they got over a little bit. So the kickers, they go off to the little field and they get the kicks in, and so hopefully ours will get.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, man. You can't count on that, man. You got a great degree of difficulty. Like I said, defense, special teams for us is all good. I think to take pressure off of Spencer Rattler, the Saints going to implement a running attack. They have 4 running backs. All of them have different styles. Alvin Kamara obviously is do it all. Kendre Miller is the backup running back who's healthy, who's listed as the powerful complement to Alvin Kamara. Jawan Johnson got paid $10 million a year over the next 3 years. As the Saints see him as a guy that can take the next step to be one of the top tight ends in the NFL. Got to work on his blocking, but he also have to improve upon his catches. So the philosophy of the Saints in terms of Spencer Rattler is to have a pretty much a track team, and it's supposed to translate to the defensive side of the ball. That's why all these guys have these 40 times. It's ridiculous. You have to have a certain 40 time, obviously, to be a Saint wide receiver. All these guys are fast. And I think that is the idea that we've been picking little clues and picking little clues and things out of what they've been saying, because they're not giving up much. But we keep hearing these little clues that Spencer and Doug Nussmeier, offensive coordinator, is saying, and these guys are saying they're looking at kind of blitzing and in terms of flashing that speed and operating on some type of kind of an estimated offense here and a accelerated offense in an attempt to kind of cover up some of the experience that Spencer Rattler has there, which is 7 games. So it's going to be interesting philosophy to see if he does, because Kellen is a guy that we seen last year run the ball. It doesn't change. I think it'll deviate a little bit, but it's still very interesting. What are you guys' thoughts on the game? What are your keys to victory? Brother Javon, we start with you.
I was breaking up a little bit there, but yeah, one of the things, if I could pick it up, I think one of the things when you're coming in as a first time head coach is trying to put your stamp team. And so if speed is what you're going for, if you're trying to really establish that, it's trying to do that, but then also keep the locker room, right? And so what I mean by that is because you've gone through head coach, and so knowing what that's like and how that can drain the locker room. We went through for a period of having a coach that was just ill prepared to be the lead dog, and that was better equipped to be an offensive coordinator in Kingsbury. So what I think is key is that while game 1 or week 1 hope springs eternal, it comes down to understanding, if I think in my estimation, coming from the Saints perspective, is that if we lose this game, all is not lost just because we're trying to establish something. Whereas the flip side for the Arizona Cardinals is that we need to come out strong, because the NFC West is up for grabs because of bad backs, because of coaches because of coaches in San Francisco that like to run their teams into the ground when they practice in them and make, as Ed likes to say, making people run through brick walls all over and over again. So there's so many question marks that it becomes, the expectations can be the things that weigh down. So I think as long as Kellen doesn't repeat the sins of past head coaches, which can lead to a short tenure, then all can be well in Who Dat Nation. But I think it's Who Dat Nation, but it's that thing. So that's why I think when Ed and I talked about with the Arizona Cardinals, this is a game that I see anyway, the Cardinals winning, because you got to, because you've been having a slow build and now it's time. So you can't keep saying, girl, when I see you, girl, wait till I see you, girls. Oh, when I see you, girl. Well, you've been saying that. Shoot, we done been to dinner. We had dessert. You better, what you gonna do? So now it's about trying to, what are you going to follow through on what you've been saying? And the Saints are saying, hey girl, I'm kind of smooth like that. You know what I'm saying? See what I do. But so I think it's different. So there's, well, if you go out and you perform well, the defense does well, you see the speed, you see that, then I think the fan base will lean in and say, okay, let me see what you got for this season. We'll give you a little bit more grace to be able to see if you can round it out.
That's an interesting perspective there, brother Javon. Very very interesting. I see it. I agree. I think, man, listen, it's a honeymoon period that he does have coming through the door. But like I said, it's a kind of a separate divide, because the Saints are similar to what the Cardinals are the last 4 years. Where you guys are is what the Saints was last year, when Dennis Allen was in his 4th year. He had all these drafts, all these picked players, and it was time for him to show fruit. Now you've been growing and you've been tilling, been doing all this stuff. Now what fruit have you in 4 years? And the guy's on a 7-game losing streak that cost him his job. So it's just one of these things. But he'll have a honeymoon period and a bit of a leash to win. I just, with people saying, hey, man, the last 4 years, y'all and made bad decisions, I think there is a certain amount of patience from the support base to kind of lean in and say, hey, man, even if let's say if they lost to the Cardinals, it's all about what kind of performance. Did they fight their ass off and the Cardinals was just better? They just wanted it more. I mean, people would say, you know what? They fought hard for it. It's just the Cardinals was a little bit better. I think that's where we are. Of course, we want to win, but we respect the effort. Don't waste my time with bad football and dumb football. And I won't, you know what I'm saying? Don't waste my time with that crap. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother Smith.
We were 4-13. We were 4-13. And all you kept hearing was they trying hard. They fighting hard. And that was the currency that they traded on that first season with Gannon. And then the next season it was, you tried hard. We expect you to try hard, but let's go ahead because what happened the season before he arrived here was that there were so many games where that you can just tell where the effort tailed off and they were not going to win. So let's live to fight another day. And so the tryhards were 4-13. And so there ain't no try hard no more. We don't want that. We expect that. So that's I hear what you're saying.
Hey, bro, I'm with you on it, man. You got to execute, bro, and win. And of course, and you're right, win as you learn. I mean, that's a part where you got to win as you learn. It don't have to be pretty, but you that's the thing. That's the NFL. You won't make it in there for very long if you can't win. They'll pull you out of there and throw you down. Thank you for that, bro. Brother Ed, what do you think about the keys to victory, and how do you think the game ends? You're gonna pick the Saints, right?
Yeah, it's against my Falconism to pick the Saints.
There you go. Okay, all right. I thought you was about to see. Now you flipped to the Falcon side of it now. Okay.
Now the keys to this game are simple for me. For the Cardinals, if we're going to come in and get a victory, we simply have to run the ball, protect the ball, and take advantage of our opportunities up the field. But just don't do anything stupid. Get the offensive line situated, come off the ball, run, and then we turn our defense loose on you guys, man. Because when maybe before we get off, Big Q, you can let me know how the quarterback battle went, where we come with, the quarterback who's starting the game, because all indications were that the young guy you guys drafted, he was a little older, but he was kind of the front runner. But then at the tail end, it just kind of all just got flipped to the other side. So for us, we got to come in there and stop Kamara from running the ball. Anybody who's in the backfield, make sure they're 3 yards deep, before they see the light of day. Force you guys to have to throw a little more, and then take advantage of maybe a mistake or two. But like I said, our keys are, this is one of those games, and I hate to say it, but this is one of those games from our perspective. When you're looking at your schedule, this is one that you say, if you guys don't win this one, oh, heaven help you. I mean, we're 6.5, point favorite on the road in your house, which means a lot. These spread lightly. Yeah. So when you're getting 6.5 on the road, that means you are expected to win this game. So that means Cardinals, don't go over there and pity pat and play around. We don't want to see a 13, anything like that. Show us what you have, and go out there and dominate a team, meaning impose your will on them. Run the ball. You got Connor back there. Kyler, use your legs, use your arm. We should be walking away from this game with a comfortable victory. And no slight on the Saints, because you guys are, I think, heading in the right direction simply just because you got Allen out of that house, because golly, he sounds like he was butchering that. But the good thing is you can see the sun is trying to peek through the clouds, It's just it's been raining for a long time over there, but the sun, you can see rainbows in the sky. There you go. But you guys are heading in the right direction. It might not be a victory this week because I think the Cardinals will come in.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I think I have I have my score. I'll even give you a score. I think my score was something like 27-17. So a comfortable win, maybe a little sloppy because everybody's, getting out of not playing any preseason. We're gonna have, a lot of things going on, but I think we come in and get a victory as long as we don't do anything stupid. And I bring up special teams, everything. Catch the ball, do whatever you got to do. Just hold on to it, and we should be fine. But like I said, no slight against you guys. If we don't come in and get this from Big Q, you better find a internet station that covers the Cardinals out here because it's gonna get ugly on Monday if we don't come back there with a win.
Hey, you're right. The Saints are 6.5.
Yeah,
underdogs in our own building. Arizona is definitely expected to come in there. Yeah, we're definitely underdogs. And to answer your question about the quarterback situation, Tyler Shuck was Kellen Moore's handpicked guy. He came in, and it was close. And I think both of them did really well. The crazy part about the whole competition is during the training camp, Spencer was doing really well. Tyler was doing too, but Spencer was slightly ahead of him. When we got into preseason, when they started playing the games, it narrowed almost to a point where they were both tied. And if the person who would have led the first team, because the first team struggled mightily regardless of what quarterback, if it was Tyler or whether it was Spencer, the first team had no rhythm, but both of them had rhythm with the second units. So when the time came, I think what Kellen Moore did was he just went with the experienced guy. And that's pretty much his thought process was to go with, and it made sense from an optical standpoint, because if I take Tyler Shuck, and I like Tyler, but I thought he was drafted a little too high for my taste, but whatever. Yeah. But you take Tyler Shuck, and let's say he starts. If Tyler goes out there and struggle, and he looks bad, then you pivot to Spencer Rattler. That don't look too good. But if you go the opposite way, it gives Tyler an opportunity to kind of, to go through the weeks in the practice and kind of pick up and watch that clipboard and get some experience, as opposed to him going in there and crashing and burning. So I think that was Kellen Moore's philosophy. But Spencer Rattler knows that his game is to make sure that never happens, to make sure Tyler Shuck stays in the second string as long as he's here. So that's what he's attempting to do. We'll just see what happens there.
I'm glad.
Brother Javon, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, well, after Javon, we definitely want to get your thoughts on, how the game's going to go, score and all.
Okay, so Brother Javon, what do you think, bro? You going to give a score on it? Did you give? I don't think you gave a score. You gave a really good breakdown. But what do you think the score is going to be?
Yeah, no, I got Cardinals. Cardinals, I would say Cardinals. What did I say? And I want to be consistent. What did I say? Oh,
you were
31-24. Wants to get,
you were up there higher. I was at 27.
I think
17.
that we'll have a couple of a couple of Kyler Murray mistakes. So I think it'll be close in that regard, but I think it'll be the Cardinals coming out victorious.
Okay, yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I think the Saints, man. You're right. It does impact the Cardinals a little harder because you guys have been having that coach stand. You have to beat the perceived teams that you're supposed to beat. I think coming to New Orleans, I think in the Dome, establishing home turf, I think it's a dangerous game. Period, because the Saints is right now they embrace the underdog thing. There is no pressure for the Saints in terms of the national press to do anything, and those teams are dangerous, so they can just go out there and have fun. I think the key to what the Saints are doing is people said, like you said, Brother Ed, you said, man, we're just gonna stack that box, man. We're gonna get up to that line of scrimmage, and we ain't gonna let Elvin Kamara beat us. And I think that's what they're anticipating. That's why Kellen Moore says, man, listen, we got to make sure we get fast so we can create matchups, mismatches throughout the secondary, spread teams out so we be able to create space for Elvin and whoever to operate. And the Saints are their motto is to get out there and be fast and furious offensively. So Kellen Moore, I think that's his thought process, his neutralizer of sorts to kind of stave off that, because Spencer Rattler doesn't know enough right now to win games on his own. You know, he doesn't know enough. He learning Kellen Moore's playbook. That's just not his game right now. Now he can make plays because he's smart with his feet and be decisive at times. He's a young quarterback, but the Saints have given him a security blanket and a tight end with Jawan Johnson. They got a really good wide receiver in Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. Both guys can take the tops off the defenses as well as catch ball and run really good routes. They had a big wide receiver in Veli from Denver, who's a guy that got like the majority of his catches and from the slot position, a big physical wide receiver with a 4.47, 6.52 something or other with a 4.47 speed. So I mean, like I said, these guys that's what they're anticipating, people stacking the box against them. And I think that's what Kellen Moore's neutralizer of sorts for doing that. So they can crowd up there all they want. They hit them upside the head a couple of times downfield. That'll back them safeties up, and that'll give Elvin and Kentre Miller time to operate. So we're just going to see. But I think in terms of the score, I'll put it closer. I say it'd be 24 to 17, 24-20. I think it'll be a close game because I respect Arizona. I think Arizona going to come to play. I think it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be a close game, but I think we beat them 24-20.
Good score. I think it's going to be a good game. I think anytime you go to the Dome,
that's what's up.
We'll
be stressing.
Well, hey, it's just the first week though, brother Javon. It's just the first week. So whoever wins, whoever loses, they got both teams. We got something to work on moving forward because it's just week one, and it's one or more. So we just got to keep on stepping and keep improving, regardless of wins or losses. We have to get better regardless. So that's how I see it. But I think it's going to be a good game.
We'll have our eyes on it for sure. We'll be sitting there watching it.
All right. So, y'all, listen, man, these are two really great guys here, Brother Ed and Brother Javon from the Bleav in Cardinals podcast. Fellas, please tell the family members where you guys could be located. Tell them where your podcast's at and where you could be found so they could check out all things Cardinals.
Yeah, so you can follow us on X at Ed Smith Speaks, and also I'm at Javon Love. That's JAVONLUV. Wherever you search in Bleav in the Arizona Cardinals or Bleav in Cardinals, you can find us. Whether that is Spotify, anywhere you find your podcast, LinkedIn, anywhere you find your podcast. And as you can tell, probably from Big Q, how Ed and I like to joke around a little bit when on our show. We like to have a lot of fun as we break down the Arizona Cardinals. And so, yes, yeah, so tell your friends about what we have going on at Bleav in Cardinals.
That is, fam. Bleav in Cardinals, man. Check these guys out, man. They fun, man, and they tell it like it is. And like I said, I had a lot of fun having the brothers come on here and kind of go. So good luck to your teams. Weeks 2 on back. And you guys have a fantastic time there. So anyway, fam, give a shout out and round of applause to these gentlemen, man. Excellent. Great breakdown. Hey, Brother Ed, man, listen, man, let me tell you something, brother.
Appreciate
shout out to you from Arizona, man. And listen here, brother. I ain't got nothing to say about them Falcons, brother. Listen, we gonna listen. I know you know a couple of Falcon people. And you tell them I said, man, that we're going to sweep them this year and we're going to knock the feathers off them this year. You tell them I said that, all right?
Okay. I used to play for the Falcons, right? I was with them Dirty Birds, and my brother was in New Orleans for 5 years. He played there under Mora and
Irv. Any brother Irv?
What's my man? Bears old Ditka. My brother was there. Irv Smith, he was there.
Yeah,
Irv.
For
5 years, I think. We have 5 years, and like
that's right.
Yeah. So I could get back over there and give me some gumbo and some alligator, man. I've been missing it.
Hey.
You know, I had to come back to food, Jack.
Oh, they don't know about that alligator, man. A lot of people are like, what alligator? Oh man, alligator sausage. Oh, they don't know, brother. Yeah. Oh my goodness, they don't know.
Let me tell you real quick, man. I used to come in and visit my brother and stay for a weekend, and there was a spot called Ralph and Cacoo's. We would actually, on the way to the airport, I would stop and give me some blackened alligator and take it back to Atlanta with me, man. Give me a double helping. I'll be back in Atlanta eating alligator.
Hey, man, I tell you, alligator. A lot of people it sound weird, fam. It's something down here listen, it's good. That's all I can say, man. I don't know. What it tastes like.
Don't
it taste like chicken?
It tastes like chicken, bro.
It tastes like chicken. What you said, brother Javon? You said Papa
nice and greasy too.
Oh yeah, it's good, man. That alligator is great. All right, guys. Listen, man. Once again, man, thank y'all, man. Listen, family, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, man. Listen, we're gonna be back on Sunday, man, with the watch party. We're gonna cover it. I do the play-by-play, man. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna have fun, baby. Sunday is going down. Saints and Cardinals week 1 football is back. Football is back. All right, so we're going to holler at you on the next time. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and peace. We out of here. Much love.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like this and I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoDatDaily.com is your site. The WhoDatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who Dat Too.